Hi everyone, welcome to Matt's Plants. Only a couple of very small things today. I'm in the garage, my grow room, looking at the highland terrarium. So I don't very often fertilise my plants. The advice I heard was to water weekly. You can insert the correct spelling there. I kind of fertilise my Masdevallias, my Draculas and my Strepias very weekly, but only about once or twice a month in growing season, and less at the moment. So this is a Cairns orchid mix, and it's my little drug dealer scales. I've got 5 litres of rainwater, and I think it's 1 gram for every 2 litres, so I'm looking at about 1.5 grams. So I'm just going to slightly underdose it. Half a gram. Yeah, so very, very weak dose, so it'd be over 2, and I'm only going to have 1 and a bit. So what I'll do is I'll mix this in to my sprayer, and then to do a double test, I'll test the ppm, the parts per million of fertilizer, to check it's about, well below 500 probably, before I fertilize the plants with it. And then we'll have a look at some of the plants, because I do have a couple of bits of new growth, which is quite nice. And I've made a few changes to the highland tank as well. Back in a minute. So I've mixed the fertilizer in my sprayer, and I'm just going to take a sample of the water. So I can check the ppm. So ppm is parts per million, and it refers to basically everything that's in the water that isn't pure H2O. So most tap water in the UK has got a relatively high ppm because there's calcium carbonate and various other things dissolved in it, which is why it's best not to use for orchids and carnivorous plants. This is rainwater, which is about 15 ppm, I think, usually, or a bit less. So it doesn't have a great deal in it, just whatever it's picked up on the roof and presumably in the pot, looking at the state of it. Get my meter. 112, 113 parts per million. So as I said, most of my orchids in the highland tank are pleurothalids. I've also got a couple of nepenthes as well. So neither of those, which are carnivorous plants, neither of those like particularly high levels of fertilizer, although some orchids will tolerate much more. 109, 110, let's call it 110. So this is pretty low. I could probably give it some more, but they don't need a lot of fertilizer. I grew them for a long time with no fertilization at all, and they did fine. So now I just give them a little bit to help them along. So there we go. So as I said, that's the Cairns rain mix I've mixed in there. So you've got the NPK value, nitrogen, potassium, and the other one. Oh God, my chemistry. I should know about this. Plus a load of other stuff, manganese, that they need as well. Very good. Right, I will water stuff, and then I'll come back and maybe film a few plants. So this is the highland tank as it stands today. A few weeks ago I made a few changes. I went through the entire tank and took records of everything, because I didn't realise quite what I'd got. I've lost a few plants over the years, and my notes were a little bit inadequate. I've also made a few changes. So I've put, I don't know if you can see that, I put egg crate at the bottom. So it's very cold now in my garage. I've moved house in the summer. It's colder now than it used to be. So I'm trying to work on improving the heating slightly. I do have a heater in here that comes on during the day to raise the temperatures up to about 15, 16, 17, something like that. I also have like essentially underfloor heating, which is partly why I put the egg crate in. So there's like a reptile heating mat under there that brings the temperature up a few degrees without cooking the roots of the plants. Seems to work quite well. Almost made a few changes. Ignore anything down the far end. That's just been shoved there because I've got no choice to get rid of it. I've put the fan, one of the ventilation fans, on the inside and higher up. Orchids, and I've got another one mounted there, which is going to be wired up today. So this is a spike of the Ova Arvis, the Masdevallia Ova Arvis, which I think was my very first video, way back when lockdown started in March, and we thought this would all be over in a few months. It's now middle of December, and I'm in tier 2. I was in tier 1, and then we had a month-long lockdown, and now I'm in tier 2. Brilliant. But yeah, it's one of my absolute favourites. I love how well this plant's done. Yeah, these come and they go. I don't know. I do like them. I think perhaps I'm not the best grower of Nepenthes, but they do seem to do okay. This is still very lovely. I think this has been seen on a previous video. It's really nice. I've got the Caloptera, Masdevallia Caloptera, which again is one of my very reliable bloomers. Spikes every year about this time. These lovely delicate, I might take a picture of this, these lovely delicate three-pronged yellow, white and very nice purple colour flowers on a nice long spike. I've got three spikes, 4 spikes, but that's only got 1 flower on it. It's a bit useless. My mounts, so I've had problems, a little bit of problems with these. They tend to fall off. This is my Caesia, which got divided. It was in a net pot, so it got split. There's a new growth, and I'm hoping they do okay on the mount. This is nice. This is Epidendrum porpax, so just opening up. Has grown massively since I've got it, and I've taken some chunks off it. It allegedly grows cool to warm, so I took off a lump and shoved it in the warm tank upstairs. Yeah, doesn't seem to be that happy. That is probably dead, if I'm honest with myself, but I'm trying desperately to rescue it, so I mounted it. Its roots just got too wet. Really unfortunate. Masdevallia minutia. The Erinacea you saw in the last video, the weird little one. The Sunjanella goes this time of year, goes very brown, doesn't like it, comes back in the spring. So we've got another one of my favourites, the Mendosiae, just going over now. Weird little alien face hugger flowers. The ever reliable, the possible exquisita that the gentleman at the Orchid Society got very snippy about, and they wonder why people don't go to orchid societies. Watching Roger's video, Roger's Orchids, him talking about the sad death of one of his friends in an orchid society, them trying to give the plants away, and I think it's such a shame. I think the hobby is quite literally dying in the UK, and my experience of orchid societies has been, yeah, not great. They're kind of very stuck in their ways. They don't engage. They don't really welcome new people. I mean, for the record, I'm approaching 40. I'm not a kid. I turn up and they talk down to me like I'm a teenager that just wandered in. I don't really react well to it. So the one thing I do want to talk about is that something I've always considered a failure. So this was a Masdevallia, no, it's a pleurothallid Marthiae, and it grows colossal. And I've had it for 2 years, possibly almost 3 years, and it's done a grand total of sweet FA. It's sat in its pot, getting progressively tattier and tattier. As you can see, it's dreadful, absolutely dreadful. And I'm quite honestly ashamed to admit I own it most of the time. But, I don't know if you can see that. There's new growth. There's new growth. Finally, a bit of Salmonella escape there. I'm hoping, please, that will grow and the plant will develop, because it has sulked and sulked and sulked and sulked and sulked. Possibly picking it up by its leaves isn't the best idea. Shove that back down there. This is quite a sweet little thing. I'm going to forget the name of this, so I'll put it up. It's a pleurothallid. Can't even remember where I got this from, but yeah, it's quite nice. It's been out for a long time. Delicate little flowers. I was once at an Orchid Society discussion with, and they were talking about how much they love big blousy Cattleya. And somebody pointed out they much preferred the small quirky flowers. Yeah, I can see that. I get that. So yeah, everything growing okay. As I said, just gently fertilised, nothing earth-shattering and new. There's some new growth, which is nice to see. For the stuff that likes the cooler temperatures, and it is getting cooler and cooler out here now, down to about 8 at night if I'm not careful. But I'm hoping for the overharvest, which is in spike quite soon. There's one of my smaller ones that's got a spike on it down here somewhere. So this is the problem. It's like a jungle down here. I did tidy stuff out. I have spare plants which I'd love to give away. to like a local society, but of course there is no local society. So I'm in a bit of an unfortunate position. I don't really want to post them because I certainly don't want to sell them because I fell out with eBay. Masdevallia lata, really interesting. Normally flowers in the summer for me when it's nice and warm. Still flowering, and it has been bloody cold, mind you. I think it's going over. Yeah. New growth on the, where is it? The little piece I took off. There's new growth, if you see it, sort of there as well. The Pleurophthalid violacea. I like that. I hope that does well. Yeah. So I think that's pretty much everything for today. I do have another spike on one of my indoor plants. It's a bit underwhelming, but I might film that as well. And yeah, I need to clear even more space out here so I can buy some more orchids. And my next job for today, wire that fan up. Hoping the additional air movement will also help regulate the temperatures a little bit more. And they do like a constant draft, some of these plants. Which is why I think I lost the minutiae. It's got a bit wet. Pull that leaf off. But I'm hoping we're in a better position. It's getting a bit too much light. There's Selaginella down there as well, it gets everywhere. Do like a nice piece of Selaginella. Good. Alright. Thank you everybody for watching, and hopefully more soon. Take care.